Hey everybody, night number 4 of Pennsylvania Speedweek is in the books. And boy was this one crazy. It was an absolute barn burner here tonight. It had just about everything. So let's hop right into your recap. We started out with 50 cars turning up for $50,000 to win tonight. This set up 2 individual flights of time trials and meant we would need another B main. I don't know why they didn't just call it the C main, but whatever. Your top 5 in hot laps was Brent Marks, Ryan Newton, James McFadden, Anthony Macri, and Cody Hartlob. Your top 5 from Flight A time trials included Anthony Macri, Freddie Raymer, Chase Dietz, James McFadden, and Doug Hammaker. Your Flight B time trials included Ryan Newton, Preston Latimus, Brady Bacon, Cameron Smith, and TJ Stutz. Anthony Macri ended up being the fastest overall because by the time we got to Flight 2, the track was already slowing down a lot. The fastest time set by Ryan Newton in Flight 2 was about a half of a second slower than Anthony Macri's lap. And with that, we headed right into heat races. Heat number 1 saw Chase Dietz and Doug Hammaker on the front row. Chase Dietz got out to the early lead, and Hammaker was trying to fend off Kerry Madsen. Anthony Macri got into the wall out of turn number 4. Buddy Schweiben spun in turn number 2, collected Macri, Devin Borden, and JJ Loss. Macri got a flat, and he had to go to the work area, but he did end up rejoining the field. We went back to green with 9 to go. Jordan Givler made an attack on Jude Siegel, but could not get by. Macri ended up being on the charge as he made his way by Dave Grube and several other drivers. As the field began to spread out about halfway through the race, Macri was trying to get by Jude Siegel, but Siegel kept slamming the door. Macri finally got by in turn 2 about a lap later, but he missed the transfer by 1 spot. Chase Dietz got the win, followed by Doug Hammaker, Kerry Madsen, Chad Trout, and Aaron Bollinger. Heat number 2 saw James McFadden and Dylan Norris on the front row. McFadden got out to the early race lead. Further back in the pack, Billy Dietrich challenged Cody Hartlob for position, could not get by though. Norris began falling back because Freddie Raymer and Brent Marks got by him. Shortly after that, Brent Marks challenged Freddie Raymer and got by him in turn number 2. Dylan Norris ended up falling back to the final transfer spot, and Marks was catching McFadden, but was not close enough to make a move. Every time he tried, he was unsuccessful, and the field spreads out again. Marks has one last run on the last lap, but just can't make the pass. James McFadden took home the win, followed by Brent Marks, Freddie Raymer, Cody Hartlob, and Dylan Norris. Heat number 3 saw Brady Bacon and TJ Stutz on the front row. Bacon got out to the early race lead, but Stutz tried to challenge him up top. He got by for a moment, but Bacon powered back by. Talon Haas and Kyle Moody battled for the 5th position. Danny Dietrich was making moves. He was up to 7th. Logan Rumsey and Ryan Newton have a little bit of a battle, and Rumsey gets by the 66. Danny Dietrich is still working on getting by Talon Haas, but just can't get there. Shortly after, Haas gets into the inside wall. Danny Dietrich and Matt Campbell capitalize on that, but Dietrich was not close enough to get to a transfer. Brady Bacon took the win, followed by TJ Stutz, Logan Rumsey, Ryan Newton, and Kyle Moody. The 4th and final heat race of the night saw Cameron Smith and Justin Whittle on the front row. Smith got out to the early lead, and Carson Macedo pulled a 4-for-1 in turns 1 and 2, started 6th and got up to 2nd real fast. And a little further back, Bryce Lucius was being challenged by Ryan Smith, but Lucius does escape for now, and he challenges Preston Latimus for the final transfer. Lance DeWeese and Ryan Smith go head-to-head. Meanwhile, up front for the final transfer, Bryce Lucius slides Latimus, but Latimus gets right back by him. Lucius tries another slider back in turn number 2. Latimus hops the tire and flips into the catch fence, causing about a 45-minute red flag delay. Latimus was okay after the incident. We go back to green with 4 laps to go. Cameron Smith was able to hold off Carson Macedo for the entire race, and back behind, Ryan Smith was able to get by Bryce Lucius for the final transfer. Cam Smith took home the win, followed by Carson Macedo, Logan Schuchart, Justin Whittle, and Ryan Smith. As we headed into B main number 1, Anthony Macri and Tyler Ross shared the front row. Ross got out to the early race lead, and Billy Dietrich made the move on Anthony Macri for 2nd. Billy tried challenging for the lead all race, but just couldn't get there, and with 1 lap in the books, Jordan Strickler spun in turn number 1. He was able to rejoin the field, and we went back to green. Ross led on the restart, and Macri fell back to 4th, but Macri got by Jude Siegel once again. At one point, you could throw a blanket over the entire top 4. Billy Dietrich still trying to get around Tyler Ross. He slides him in turns 3 and 4, but Ross takes it back. Macri challenges Billy for 2nd, but just can't get there. And Tyler Ross takes home the win of the B main, followed by Billy Dietrich, which is the only other transfer. Anthony Macri missed the transfer, which causes a huge point shakeup, and that puts Chase Dietz in the points lead. Heading into B main number 2, because of that huge red flag, Preston Latimus was able to repair his car and get back out there, and he shared the front row with Danny Dietrich. The first time around, Preston Latimus jumped the start, so they had to call it back for the first time. The second start went a lot better. Never mind. Bryce Lucius went around in front of the field and collected Brandon Raymer and Dallas Schott. Raymer and Lucius rejoined the field, but Schott is done. Take 3 went a lot better. Danny Dietrich got out to the early race lead. Dominic Malaire and Troy Wagaman Jr. went to battle further back in the pack. Malaire stuck with Latimus the entire race pretty much, and he tried to make a move, just couldn't get there though. Brandon Raymer was climbing through the traffic, and Lance DeWeese slows and brings out the next caution. We go back to green with 7 to go. Latimus looks and pulls even with Double D, but Dietrich just has the momentum around the top. Latimus tries again a lap later, but is still unsuccessful. Malaire tried down low for second, but just couldn't get there, and that allowed Wagaman to slide him in the next turn and get by. Brandon Raymer continued to climb through the field, and shortly after the field begins to spread out, and Danny Dietrich takes home the win, followed by Preston Latimus. And then it was feature time. Freddie Raymer drew the 1, and he shared the front row with Chase Dietz. Doug Hammaker, who originally started in the 7th spot, decided to accept the Bandit Challenge, where the driver that accepts it goes back to the 19th starting spot, and they earn $6,619 extra dollars, plus the prize money for wherever they actually finish, and the prize money for actually just starting the race. Doug was unfortunately not able to get very far. On the start, Freddie Raymer got out to the early race lead. Brady Bacon and James McFadden battle for the 3rd spot. Shortly after that, James McFadden spins in turns 3 and 4 and does a 360. He keeps it going, but brings out the caution, so he has to go to the back of the pack. We go green with 2 laps complete. Freddie Raymer gets back out front, and battles happen right all over the place. Deeds eventually catches Freddie and takes the lead with about 24 laps to go. Brady Bacon, Brent Marks, and Cameron Smith are all closing in on your leaders, and Marks ends up doing a 360 while battling Cam Smith and brings out the yellow. Don't look now, but Danny Dietrich is the hard charger so far. From 22nd to the 12th spot, he's already up 10. On the restart, Chase Dietz just runs away. Freddie Raymer starts dropping back as Brady Bacon and Cameron Smith get by. Eventually, Cam Smith does make the pass on Brady Bacon for the 2nd position, but probably the man of the night, Danny Dietrich, was making crazy moves all night long. He gets up to the 5th position and is right behind the 2 cars in front of him. He gets to 3rd as the white flag flies. Dietz takes home the win for the 3rd night in a row. And rounding turn 4 for the checkers, Danny Dietrich steals 2nd at the line from Cameron Smith, who was followed by Logan Schuchart and Brady Bacon. Well, there you have it. There is your recap for tonight. This race was absolutely crazy, and I'm sure the rest of Speedweek is going to go insanely well. Just hopefully Mother Nature stays away, and hopefully we can get the entire weekend in. Well, not weekend, but the entire week. I will not be going to Grandview tomorrow because I will be taking a night off. The plan was originally to go to Grandview tomorrow, but skip Hagerstown. But because Kyle Larson is probably going to be at Hagerstown, we are skipping Grandview for our night off. And we will be at Hagerstown, but we will not be recapping because Joe Donahue is taking care of that. So yeah, no recap video tomorrow, but at least you know why. That's going to do it for night number 4 of Pennsylvania Sprint Speed Week. I think that was just a tease of what's to come later in the week. See y'all at Port Royal on Wednesday. Chris Kraft signing out.